Here's up, guys, MugenLord here, and we want to talk about Star Wars Outlaws and Ubisoft. While we talk about this once again, we know that many people have issues with the game as far as the bugs are concerned, and this is pretty mediocre to a lot of people. And also, of course, we talk about the culture war aspect about, the voice actress and her character model and everything of those sorts. We've been talking about that for so long. But today, the reason why I wanted to bring this up is because they actually interviewed the leading actress of the main character of Star Wars Outlaws, and she has some things to say about her opinion when it comes to misogyny and all these other type of things that's within the gaming industry. So before we even dive into this video, make sure you hit the subscribe button, the notification bell for more gaming content here on this channel. So we are going to dive into it. So of course, Bounding Into Comics have covered this, and I really want to give my thoughts on this as well, because this just, oh my god, it's just so irritating. And this also has a lot to do with a lot of these journalists, because it's these journalists who always brings up these stupid ass questions. And and when it comes to these actors want to keep their job. Now, I'm not sure, like I said, she could totally believe everything that she's sprouting out her mouth or whatever like that. But we got into a point where everybody's trying to be politically correct. People think that, okay, I have to say the right things, especially on record, because I don't want to lose my job, and I don't want to be ousted, by, the modern audience or the mob, the woke mob and things like that. So let's just dive into it. We'll get into it. So it says, Star Wars Outlaws lead actress claims the video game industry tends to have a lot of limitations in misogyny, and kind of in and out politics of who can be a part of it and who you want to play as. So it says, according to Star Wars Outlaw lead actress Humberly Gonzalez, Ubisoft's decision to center the game exclusively on a female protagonist proves a stark contrast to the limitations and misogyny regularly seen throughout the video game industry. What misogyny? There's plenty of female leads in our games. We keep forgetting about Samus Aran. We keep forgetting about Lara Croft. There's a ton of different characters, especially female characters specifically, who led a bunch of franchises. This is not a new concept. This is not a new thing. Female-led characters has not been gatekept out of video games. And this is the thing. They're trying to, especially with social media, and I swear social media has in journalism has sorcery, some type of mind control over a lot of these people, because a lot of these people tend to forget the past. They just erase in the past like none of this ever existed. That female characters, female-led roles in video games has never been the thing. And it seems like people are co-signing this as if that has always been the truth. But let's move on. It says Gonzalez, who appears in the recent release titled as protagonist Kay Vess, offered her take on this subject during a recent post-launch interview given to Comics Gaming Magazine. Donna Aileen, and this is what I'm talking about. See, the reason why we keep having these discussions is because it's gaming journalists that keep bringing this discussion in the forefront. They keep bringing it up. Which means, of course, these actresses, these developers, and many of these other people have to voice their opinion on it. Because if you don't voice your opinion on it, or whatever, then obviously you're on the wrong side of this whole culture war, or you on the wrong side of the narrative. So some people aren't strong-willed. Some people are afraid to risk their job, so they're going to go out and say what they believe is the correct thing to say in order for them to keep their job and also to be able to progress or move up, in their career and everything. So after that, it says amidst a general discussion of her time working on the game, the actress was eventually pressed by her host. And that's what I'm talking about. They're pressing these people. And look at all these interviews. The thing is, a lot of these developers don't just come out. I'm saying this, quite a few of them that don't come out and want to talk about diversity, talk about inclusion, talk about all these other things. But you have these gaming journalists who comes in and just want to talk about this shit. Just keep pressing on it. So obviously, she was pressed to talk about it. So, by her host as to how she felt not only serving as the voice in the body of Star Wars Outlaws, but also leading this male-dominated universe, having it be women first right now. And this is what I'm talking about. Star Wars has always been diverse, and it has always been inclusive. And Star Wars has always been welcoming to everybody. And these journalists And especially, I can probably take an assumption that Gonzalez has probably never really interacted much with this Star Wars community before she even got the job. So she probably don't even know for herself. So she probably going to just say what she feels or say what she think is the right thing to say or whatever like that. When it comes to this whole thing about Star Wars and, you know, its diverseness of it. So in turn, Gonzalez asserted, yes, to be a leading woman, not just in Star Wars story, but in the video game industry, which also tends to have a lot of limitations in misogyny and kind of in and out politics who can be part of it and who you want to play as. I am incredibly proud of the team having chosen me, someone like me, but also only me, that there isn't a male counterpart to the story of Star Wars Outlaws, that we are focusing on the female point of a view of a scoundrel story because we only really ever seen males in the scoundrel position, she continued. But the only problem is, I wouldn't have a problem with a female lead character in the Star Wars game, but the problem is, there's nothing really unique about her character. She's literally Han Solo. She's a Han Solo just with a vagina. That's all she is. And instead of adding more of a female scoundrel where she is a bit more feminine and how she can navigate and traverse the world much differently as a woman compared to a male. And that's the problem when it comes to this. You can literally take her out and put Han Solo in there or put a generic male character in there and nothing will change. Nothing will change about this. And that's the only thing that I hate about this. Because I'm all for female inclusion. I'm all for female lead characters. But what I like about female characters, and I love the whole thing between male and females, the female perspective and how females navigate the world that these female characters placed in. See, a male character can traverse the world and navigate the world much differently than how a female is. Especially when a male character, he's much more buff, he's strong, and he can brute force his way through a lot of things and stuff like that because he's a male. You know, we are built much differently, so he can be able to navigate through things much differently. And then you have a female character who's not supposed to be as buff and as masculine as a man, but since she's a female, she would have to use her her agility. She has to be able to maneuver and sneak around much differently than the male characters, and she's not as strong as or as opposing as her male counterpart. But that's what makes it much more interesting, that she has to do a different approach to a lot of things that her male counterpart can do, and not one is not better than the other at all. And in my personal opinion, female characters can get away with certain things that male characters can get away, and vice versa and stuff. So this is why it just boggles my mind that these people don't give us a much more unique female character, opposed to just copying and pasting, taking the male and just putting the female in this place. So after that, so representation is incredible for me as an immigrant Latina in Canada. Oh, here we go. To even get to speak about my country, about Venezuela, about what it means to me as an artist, that I followed this dream, not having any family here, not having a lot of mentors in my family or anyone to look up to or content to look up to. So it says, even in Star Wars, you know, there are a lot of Latinas in this space. And oh, this character is a cool character. I wonder where they're from. Why are you worrying about where they're from? See, this is the thing about Star Wars. Star Wars always open up in a galaxy far, far fucking away. It's a galaxy far, far away. None of these people in Star Wars are Earthlings. None of them are. These are people from different planets, different parts of the galaxy, and they have different cultures, different traditions and everything. When I look at Star Wars has always been much larger than life. When I'm in Star Wars, I don't see the modern world. I don't see my world, and I don't project my world in view onto Star Wars. Every time you watch a Star Wars film, it captures you. And when you look at Star Wars, you actually believe that this is a different galaxy. You believe that this is a different world. I don't go look at black people or other people that's within Star Wars and say, I wonder where they're from. I wonder what nationality they are. No, these people are a different culture. These are different groups of people tailored to that world and to this fiction. There's nothing to do with real life. Why are you looking for Latinas in Star Wars or wondering their backgrounds in Star Wars? These aren't Earthlings. These aren't human beings from Earth. These are different people from the different parts of the galaxy. Why are you trying to put that on Star Wars? So After that, it says, further elaborating on her thoughts, Gonzalez then explained, when they go, oh, this is a cool character, I wonder where they're from, and then they do research, I just want people to feel seen. And if I can be in any of those categories, as a woman of color, oh god, as an immigrant, as a Latina, or any of those are so meaningful for someone who enters the franchise big as Star Wars. And this is the craziest thing. Like, I'm gonna keep saying it time and time again. I never cared about representation. I don't need somebody to look like me for me to be able to connect with her series. All I care about is the stories. Can I relate to these characters and their struggle, what they're going through? Color is surface level. It's the most shallowest thing that you can ever like partake in when it comes to a series or comes into this genre or this medium. That the only way that you can feel seen or feel like you're a part of something is that you need to see somebody who looks like you. I don't understand this at all. So for the next generation, for those little girls in Galaxy's Edge, for the little girls watching, for anyone back home, for me, if they simply get to see someone like them on the screen, it means something to them. So she concluded, feel inspired, feel strong, feel seen, feel represented. That to me is the goal. It's incredible because it really goes beyond just me. For those who are willing to endure the bug, willing to endure a bug after messy bug, Star Wars Outlaw is now available. Yes. And so this is more virtue signaling and just silly virtue signaling babble that we always going to see from this. And a lot of this comes from the journalists. A lot of these journalists always press on these issues. These people, they care about race. They care about representation. But anybody who speaks against this are the racist ones for some strange reason. That they're all they worrying about is race and talking about gender, when these journalists are the ones that picks it up. And not to get political, it's the same thing with the Trump and Harris. You know, they keep saying that Trump keep bringing up her race, but he never brings her race into the discussion unless he's asked about her race. These are the journalists. These are the moderators. These are the people that keep throwing up race, keep throwing up, you know, diversity and inclusion and sexuality and everything. These are the people that's bringing it up. I just want to be left alone. I just want to enjoy my hobby. I just want to enjoy the content that I've grown up with. But you can't do that is because you have people like this that just keep wanting to throw this discussion in your face, keep throwing it in your face and everything. And the fact is that I love Star Wars. I tuned out of Star Wars now. I tuned out of Star Wars after the Last Jedi. That's when I just gave up on Star Wars. Don't care for it. And as I said before, Star Wars used to be an event. Star Wars was something that I grew up with and looked forward to and always enjoyed as a kid and also into my early adult life. Watching Star Wars, always enjoyed, because when you watch a Star Wars film, you left the world that you was in. You left your real world and you was sucked into the world that the Star Wars universe had to offer. You believed every last word that was on screen. You believed the cultures. You believed everything that was going on, the political debates and everything that was going on in Star Wars. And it was its own universe. It was separate from our reality. And what I don't like about today's Star Wars, everything's feel and looks so modernized. They put a bunch of celebrities, Lizzo, they had Jack Black in there. And the thing about Star Wars, if I can explain it correctly, Star Wars also had a Shakespearean feel to it, even down to its language and how they talk and how they speak. That's how you can tell that these people were from another galaxy far, far away, because of how they talk, how they carried themselves, the culture and everything. It had a Shakespearean feel and a Shakespearean look to it. But when you look at today's Star Wars, everybody talk more modernized. Everybody look more modern. Everybody look like people that I know in real life. They don't look like they belong in Star Wars. And that's the problem. It pulls me out. I don't feel like I'm pulled into the world of Star Wars at all. And then on top of that, you add this diverse bullshit and all this wokeness in Star Wars. You add that as a cherry on top. It's definitely not Star Wars. And Lucasfilm is being sunken into the ground because of Kathleen Kennedy and her direction, you know, with the Star Wars approach. And you can tell by what they're trying to propagate. You've seen what Kathleen Kennedy said herself and the shirts they always been posting, the Force is females. This was always been the goal. This has always been the agenda, when the Force was never female. For your imagination and everything. It was never never a gender to the Force until this woman took it over. And ever since this happened, Star Wars has been sunken into the ground. Of course, you had The Mandalorian, the first season. Fuck the other season, but the first season I thought was pretty good. But I'm done. I'm done with Star Wars, and just this interview with Star Wars Outlaw doesn't help it even more. You know, so I definitely want to hear your thoughts in the comment section below. What do you think about Star Wars franchise, and what do you think about what Gonzalez has said during an interview about, you know, the misogyny within the gaming industry and her being the lead role, and on top of that, a woman of color, Latina, and all this other type of nonsense. Definitely like to hear your thoughts in the comment section below. If you like the video, hit the like button, subscribe button for more gaming content here on this channel. This is MugenLord signing off. I'll see you game fiends later. Peace out.